What does your classroom say about you? My classroom says quite a bit about me. It says that I like bright colors. It also says that I like things to be a little bit calm so that I can be as crazy as I, wake up feeling. Let's talk today about your classroom, about how to set it up. I have a free classroom planner for you that we're gonna walk through a little bit as I'm thinking through my own classroom revamp. And some of you are looking at this going, you're crazy, why are you doing that? Because I like to. Okay, let's get started. Well, hello, and welcome back to the Caffeinated Classroom. If this is your first time here, my name is Marie. I'm a high school English teacher in San Diego, California, and it's totally summer break right now, and I'm totally wearing a sweatshirt in San Diego during the summer because it's like 6 a.m. and I'm really cold. Just go with it. I own it. Just go with it. We're gonna go through today. It's gonna be a quick one. Do you see what I did there? My quick classroom planner. Oh, there it is. All right, focus. I have this for you. Go to the description box or the blog post that is linked for this video because it is a free planner. I am not going to go through the entire process because it won't be as quick as we want it to be, but I just kind of want to show you the thought processes that I go through when I am setting up any space. For me right now, I'm going back through this as I am revamping my own classroom. It just, like, the first time I set it up, this classroom for high school English was 2018, 18, it doesn't matter, it was a while ago. We've had a whole global pandemic since then, okay? Like a lot of things, it's just time. I feel like I wanna change of space and I like that. The other thing I'm gonna be doing though is not only teaching English this year, I'm going to be in the theater classroom, which means I have 3 more spaces on campus that need to get set up in a way that feels authentic to me, to the way that I teach and the things that we're going to be doing in those classes. We've got a theater itself, we've got a classroom that the theater classes use, and we've got a workshop because I'm going to be teaching technical theater. I know, it's just how I am. Let's take a little look at the process that I lead you through. The very first thing, I have my little planner printed for me right here so that I don't lose track. The first thing that I want you to do is think in 3 different modes, right? Like put your perspective. First of all, think like a student. And the question that I ask at the top of this page is, how does a student experience your classroom? And I want you to think through what kind of work that they do. What are like the work conditions, if you will? How much collaborative work do they do? What types of collaborative work do they do? How much individual work and what types of individual work are they doing? And then what does a typical class period look like? When they enter your classroom, what are the first things that they are doing? And then therefore, how do you want them to experience those things? How can you guide that experience? The next thing that we're going to think through is thinking like a teacher. This is you, your experience, because you matter, friends. You matter quite a bit. This room needs to be a reflection of you as a teacher and as a person. So let's make it work for you, right? Like, what is your teaching style? Mine personally is very active. I need open pathways in my classroom. Some people have to have the perimeter of their classroom more clear so that they can use a lot of board space because they're doing more like interactive work like that. I need to be able to meander through my classroom because I am a mover, tell you what. And then not just your teaching style, but your work style. What sort of a space is best for you when it comes to grading? Because like it or not, you're gonna have to grade. And what sort of a space works best for you when it comes to planning, which is like fun. And I know you're probably like me and planning is so fun and it lights you up. What do you need? Do you need 16 computer screens around in front of you so that you can have all the tabs open? Do you need a big fat work table so that you can spread out completely? I need all of those things. So I need a lot of space, but there's not a lot available. Then I want you to really plot out the areas of your classroom. What are the different areas that you're going to need to have defined? And they don't have to be like exclusive, right? They can blend into each other. But the things I want you to think about are designated areas of your classroom. The teacher area, an area maybe for student materials, a classroom library. I'm guessing if you're here, you're probably an English teacher or something like that. Small group work, large group work, storage, what other sorts of areas might you need to include, and just have a big list of it. Things that I don't have on here that I have in my classroom that are like just specific to me are a whole station of like workflow, like in and out boxes, along with staplers and hole punchers and missing work, or like students that were absent, like they may need copies that they missed or something like that. That is a whole workflow area. That would be something that goes in this designated areas idea that I need for my classroom. Once you have figured out the typical experience for a student, the typical experience for you, the teacher, brainstormed the areas that you need, start plotting them out. If you know roughly what your classroom is going to look like, you can start plotting these areas out. And beyond that, you're going to want to make sure that you include things like windows, doors, fire alarms, you know, like anything that's not moving. For me, I would love to move my teacher area to a different part of my classroom, but my entire like drop down computer setup plug-in area is in one spot. So like, that's where I'm gonna be, is in that spot for my computer and the dock cam and all that. Actually, I'm working on, follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I'm working on a solution to that, and we'll see if I figured it out or not. I also don't want to spend any money, so we'll just see what happens. Once you have things kind of like roughly plotted out and you know, like, I mean, literally on a big piece of paper, it could be in this free planner or it could be wherever, circle the, I had to uncap the pen to write in the air. Sorry. Okay, coffee break. Circle the areas of where things are gonna go. Right door, right window, right whiteboard, bulletin board, whatever it is, like wherever the things are, doesn't have to be exact, because the next thing you want to do is start figuring out what are those things going to be. What sorts of things do you already have that are furniture, that students use, that are materials, etc. What sorts of things do you use that you already have that you could source, that you could repurpose within the space, that you could talk to maybe an administrator or your department chair to see what sorts of things are available to you, and what sorts of things like do you really want are on your wish list, your bucket list that you could get to put into this classroom. I know there are different restrictions in different areas depending on like what types of furniture and those sorts of things you can have. There are also ways to tart up existing classroom furniture that is like industrial and gross. Contact paper. I use a lot of contact paper. The next thing I want you to think through are problems and solutions. What sorts of problems can you already foresee? If this is your very first classroom, this might be a little bit more difficult of a process, but if it's your first classroom, you've already done some student teaching. So you know that like students are gonna need to be able to turn stuff in, right? How are you gonna solve that problem? Ideas for solutions are the next things that you're gonna wanna go through. And then the last pieces of this process are just really figuring out the layout and the flow of your classroom. And that might mean like walking through with big, like sketch it out, take big pieces of butcher paper or even just pieces of like printer paper and put them around the room and like feel out what it's going to be like if you are not a very spatial thinker, or even still if you just need to feel what the space is going to be like. If you can't get into your classroom, do your best on paper and use like Post-its and things to move things around to see what it's going to feel like. And then the very most important thing is at the very end. What are your next steps? How are you going to get started? Start figuring out some priorities. The very first thing that you're gonna wanna do if you're going to a brand new classroom, or if you're like me and you've been in your classroom for years, is do some clean out, do some purging, figure out what needs to get out of there so that you've got a clean slate to start from. That is something that I've been doing quite a bit, because the last 5-6 years that I've been in that room have really just, I've accumulated stuff. Even as much as I try not to, and as good as I am about being organized in the moment, we still accumulate things. Life moves fast, especially in a high school classroom, or actually any classroom really. So it's easy to just have piles of crap everywhere. Get rid of the piles of crap and then you can get started from there. And so yeah, list out your priorities and get to work. Friends, if you are not already following along, make sure that you subscribe here. Make sure that you like this video, hit the little bell if you want notifications, because like I said before, I'm revamping my whole entire classroom and I want to take you along for the ride. And this is the process that I am going through. Make sure that you get your hands on your own quick classroom planner, even if you just need a couple of the pages. It will help you think through some things and be less overwhelmed, because that's what we all want, right? Right. Get started. I have, like I said, a whole series of classroom setup videos coming your way to tell you how I am doing this, why I am doing this, and all of that. All I'll see you soon.